I am super excited to introduce you to the 8 speakers from the Big Talk Academy Virtual Showcase Spring 2024 cohort. These incredible speakers entertain, educate, inspire, and invite you to think bigger and how you can have global impact by listening to their incredible stories. Enjoy. Cynthia Hamilton Urquhart is a retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer who believes everyone matters. She is an author, speaker, and founder of a first responder voice. She is a recipient of the 2019 Universal Women's Network Unsung Hero Award and the 125th anniversary of the Confederation of Canada Medal. Please welcome to the stage, everyone, Cynthia Hamilton Urquhart, Changing the World with the Courage to Care.
There is deep sorrow in telling a parent their child has died in an accident, but there's great joy finding someone safe who's been lost in the woods for days. Then there's incredible frustration when intervening in a family conflict that can't be resolved. These situations beg for first responders to act and to care. Having the courage to act and the courage to care means setting aside your fears, no matter how difficult the circumstances, and opening your heart, no matter how deep the pain. But the funny thing is, when we talk about courage, most likely we won't associate it to caring, yet it is key to our work. I know this to be true because I'm a retired first responder. And even though I served for over 25 years, it wasn't until after I had retired that I realized it takes courage to care, not only for others, but also for yourself. When I was a little girl, caring for things came easy, as it does for most children. We always had pets, and it was wonderful to walk them and feed them and love them. And it was easy because it was fun. My father loved to garden, and he taught me how to water and weed and care for the plants, and I loved watching them grow. It was satisfying because I got to eat the food. And then there was my brother, only 2 years older than me. He was completely blind by the age of 9, so I learned at an early age to push my chair in when I got up from the table, to close those cupboard doors and make sure I didn't leave my shoes in the middle of the floor. I didn't think about what it meant to care for someone or something. I just did it. Little did I know that it wasn't always going to be that easy. When I was 14 years old, while walking home from a friend's house, I was attacked from behind by a high school boy who grabbed me and shoved his hands down my shirt. I screamed and fought and pushed him away and ran home crying. I told my father what had happened, but unexpectedly, there was this awkward silence, you know, the type that happens when someone isn't sure what to say or what to do. I learned that caring can be uncomfortable. When I was 20 years old, I lost my mother to cancer. I didn't grieve and I didn't cry because I didn't know how to. And then only 5 months after that, I was sexually assaulted by 2 of the men that I worked with at my summer job. I was so ashamed and embarrassed that I didn't tell a soul. I didn't know that self-care was a thing. The next year, I graduated from university and proudly joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Moving 9 times and serving in 6 provinces, I served my communities. I wanted to be everything for everybody. I served them all. I wanted to fix it all. The justice system, education system, mental health care system, animal welfare, child welfare, every social system you could imagine, because when those social systems don't work, we first responders do. And at the heart of that work is caring. And throughout my career and in my personal life, I watched people care too much and care too little. I watched people care for others and never themselves. I watched people care for themselves and never anyone else. And I learned that caring like life can be complicated. And my life was complicated. During those years, I married, divorced, with 2 young children, remarried and raised a blended family of 5 children. I lost my father, my brother, supported my husband through cancer, and all of my children through their own life struggles. I cared for them all. I thought I had it all together until I didn't. A mental health breakdown came on my first day of work at yet another new posting. And like so many others, I'd been shelving and stuffing my emotions, feeling a sense of overwhelm, growing more and more exhausted, and never realizing I was struggling. I learned that caring can make you numb. And speaking of numb, right around the same time, my youngest son and I were both diagnosed with a rare, life-threatening genetic disorder, which resulted in my open heart surgery, and it ended my career. So it shouldn't be surprising that only 2 years later, in 2013, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. And didn't that diagnosis mean that I was weak, a failure, and God forbid, human? And now I had to think about self-care. And then I wondered, what if I had shown up as a first responder in my own life when those red flags were flying, when that sense of overwhelm and deep sorrow was enveloping me? And what if I had had the courage to care for myself in the same way I had cared for others? Be that kind inner voice, encourage tears, normalize self-reflection, be the pat on the back. And what if caring for others didn't have to mean giving your all or giving nothing, but a healthy balance between the two? And what if we started with small steps? If we can change how we define what it means to care, change the narrative from being tough to being human, from pushing through no matter what to asking for help, change the behaviors from walking on by to acknowledging the circumstance, step outside our comfort zone and speak up when we see a wrong. If we do all these things, then we can change how we show up and in turn help create a kinder, more compassionate society and make sure everybody knows that they matter. That first responder courage to care is in all of you, and I challenge you to look for it. When your red flags are flying, reach out and ask for help. And when you've looked after yourself, step into that courage again and reach out and help somebody else. And when you do that, you will change your world with your courage to care. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So fantastic, Cynthia. Thank you so much for this beautiful talk. Lights, sound, wardrobe, it all looks amazing. The list of what the first responders see is such a great way to open this talk because it puts us in their position and through their lens. It makes us see through their lens. Want to give you some physical direction. When you look down to gather a thought, be careful not to tip your head, especially when you're in a virtual setting, because that tiny bit of adjustment is so huge on camera. So when and if you're thinking or gathering your thoughts and you want to lower your gaze, just do it with your eyes. The story of the plants and the shoes. I would love for you, when you do this again, to tell us what kind of plants and what those vegetables were and what those shoes exactly were. And this is the painting of the picture. Those details make us connect to you, and it endears us to you when we know it's broccoli or when we know it's a pair of sneakers, whatever it is. So think about adding that the next time you do this. Caring to be uncomfortable. This is your new idea. Caring can be uncomfortable. I love that this is your new idea and that you learned about how caring can be uncomfortable by how your father responded to your assault. And I'm so sorry that happened. And I think that this is a really important nugget for you to continue to explore sharing with the world, which is caring can be uncomfortable. You performed effortlessly and powerfully. And when you shared after you joined the Mounted Police, I wanted to fix it all. I think we can really relate to that moment in terms of how we want to show up and serve. Everybody who's watching here at the Big Talk Academy, we teach memorization. And I want you to know that you showed us what self-care looks like by how you performed today when you were finding your words. You stayed in it. You were careful. You were gentle with yourself because I knew you would find it. The only adjustment that I would give is you cleared your throat, and it was probably unconscious, but that is something that we all, as human beings, when the words go out, we just love ourselves, trust that they will come back. And that's exactly what you did. And it was so beautiful to watch. Really masterful. I also want to just remind you that your call to action, which is changing the narrative of how I care, will have the kind of global impact on humanity that you desire. Beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for watching the Big Talk Academy Virtual Showcase Spring 2024 cohort. If you love these talks, definitely share in the comments so that we can fully support you. And if you want to get on my big stage, head over to thebigtalkacademy.com so we can make your dream of having impact a reality. Big love. Mwah.